Welcome to the Cheer Athlete. On this week's episode, we're going to talk more about what cheerleaders and adults need to do in common to help improve your strength, improve your power, keep moving for life. So, if you are a cheer coach or a parent and you are looking to move better and you want to teach your athletes how to move better, listen in and let's keep going with recognizing what cheerleading can teach you to get stronger. If you don't know me, I'm Laura Turner. I'm the cheer PT, and my background is in physical therapy, and I'm a strength coach as well. I have been really, over the last 12 to 15 years, I've been diving into movement and exploring movement and finding ways to help my clients move better. That's why my company is called Move Better. Move Better Physical Therapy and Fitness. And I think it's really important that we, as I've learned, that we actually know what we're doing and why we're doing it. A lot of times the clients will come into the clinic and they're like, oh, my doctor just sent me here, but they don't really know why they're there. My pain, I've got back pain. And the reason that they're coming to see me is to find out why. Now, yes, your x-ray, your MRI might show you that, but it doesn't give us a clear picture as what their mobility is like, what their movement is like. And so we explore movement, and everything that I've learned over the last 35 years as a physical therapist, but 12 years diving into movement, is we need to look at the control. We need to really stop and see where we're at. So one of the big courses that I've taken is through functional movement systems, and they have ABCs that they look at, that you want to be aware of what your body is doing, learn more awareness and feeling where you're feeling something. You want to pay attention to your breathing. Can you do something with good breath control, or are you just holding your breath? And we want to look at control. Most of the time, we just push through things. I had to stop one of my clients today. We were doing some rear foot elevated split squats for knee pain. So that is, you're standing on one leg, have your foot on a bench behind you, and then going up and down. And it's a pretty challenging exercise. It's a great exercise. I cringe every time it's on my workout because it's hard, but it's a great exercise for us. And he was just going through the motions and just doing it, not thinking about it. Meanwhile, his knee hurt. He wasn't paying attention to it. When I said, what if we move your foot in? He's like, oh, that feels better. He was going not deep enough to be able to get the full range of motion. He was just like half butting it and not going all the way down. And he was losing control. Then I looked and he was holding his breath. So being aware of where your body is in space, knowing what an exercise is supposed to feel like, making sure you're not holding your breath, and doing it with control so that you train your muscles to work in the way that they're supposed to. But I see this a lot with cheerleaders too. They just want to get through a routine. We sometimes give them exercises that are way too hard for them, and they just power through. It might be a squat. Maybe it's push-ups is a key one. And I've just posted on my do this, not that post on Instagram. I see not just girls, but girls primarily, their butts up in the air, or they're arching their lower back and they are just going halfway and just trying to push out the reps. Meanwhile, they're lacking their core control to do it. Their back starts to hurt and they're not getting any stronger. So being aware of where your body is in space, making sure that we have the ribs over the pelvis. I talk about this all the time in other episodes, but the ribs over the pelvis stacked in a push-up, and that we are controlling down, getting so that we keep our head's not popping forward, keeping the neck in alignment, and working that full range of motion. So chest is almost to the ground, maybe an apple distance away, and then pushing straight up, all while maintaining solid plank, not letting the back and the booty stick out. Keeping that core control makes you stronger. And then over time, you can do more repetitions and you get stronger to do things like hold a girl over your head, a flyer over your head. So if we don't know what that's supposed to feel like, then we can't do it. The key thing with the FMS programs is learning, like, where is your baseline? What does your quality movement look like? And if you can't do something, let's find a way to do some exercises. We call them corrective exercises. We're just changing movement to reprogram and repattern your body so that you can more effectively do other exercises. Sometimes we have to actually regress. So if they can't do a full push-up, we're not going to, okay, push-ups are on your, like push-ups are a great exercise for cheerleaders. And I think every single cheerleader should know how to do a push-up. I also think every single female should know how to do a push-up. And I have a lot of males that can't do a full-on push-up either. We need to work the control. And if you can't do it, doing more push-ups is not going to make your push-ups better. Regressing it, working on your core control. Maybe we are doing some dead bugs. Maybe you're really just pulling your knees up into a 90 position. So you're lying on your back and you're pulling your feet up off the floor, pretending like they're resting on a table and holding and controlling that, making sure that we are filling our abdominals, that our back is not, I don't cue anyone to really press their back into the floor anymore, but when you lift both knees off the floor, the back should rest flat on the floor. If not, there may be a limitation at your hips or in your core control. So you have to modify that. And you should feel the work in your abdominals. So being aware of where you're supposed to feel an exercise, making sure we're not holding our breath. If we are doing push-ups and just not breathing and pushing through, our diaphragm is trying to do more of the work, and our core and our arms are lacking in that. If we go into that plank or that dead bug position and we lift our legs up and then we're holding and our neck is popping forward, you're going to end up with neck pain. And your neck is trying to do the work for your core. So being aware of there also, get the control, put yourself in position, and then can you do that and breathe normally? Now, I do a lot of breathing work and I cue people when to breathe and where to breathe and make sure we're breathing laterally into our sides. But just being able to find which way makes the exercise easier. So you could start with a push-up and see, okay, if you breathe in as you go down and blow out as you go up, do you have better control? How about if you do it the other way? And training your body to see which way is easier for you will help you to progress and move on. There's lots of ways to regress a push-up. You can go into an incline, but you really need to work. We all think push-ups is a chest exercise and an arm exercise, but it's a whole body exercise. And so we need to have that core control. So backing it off, training the core, getting that stability, and then reintroducing with the awareness, the breathing, and the control will make the push-up be better. There's a lot of ways there's a lot of exercise you can do to make any activity better. We're talking push-up right now. I do a toe touch progression. The key movement screen is, can we touch our toes? I see a lot of people just get down and like hands can go to fingertips. I worked with a dancer 2 weeks ago and she's like, I used to palm the floor. Now she can get her hands mid shin. So we did a corrective exercise where it's a toe touch progression, really focused on, okay, can you feel your hips go backwards? Can you look between your knees and get the rounding in your spine? And are you exhaling? And are you breathing for that core stability? Did a few repetitions with her toes up, with her heels up. Lo and behold, she came back and she was able to get down and touch the floor again. So there's just really an awareness and a change in her body tone to be able to do that. Another person who hasn't touched his toes since he was like in junior high, and we did the same exercise and he was not able to get down and touch his toes. That's because he doesn't have that same motor control issue that the dancer had. He needs a little bit more mobility work. We didn't dive in with him. We're doing a quick check, and it was part of an in-service I was teaching. But probably looking at what are his hips doing. Maybe he needs to do some mobility work first. We looked at his back, and his back doesn't like to flex. To working on maybe some cat-cows ahead of time to loosen up the lower back, loosen up the hips, and create better awareness in different areas so that eventually he can get down and touch his toes or towards his toes, and maybe make a little 5-degree change can make a world of difference with how you're feeling and how you're moving and the stability that you have. So whether or not you're trying to hold somebody up overhead or you're trying to run a mile or take a hike, if you want your back to feel better or you want your hips to feel better, you want to be jumping, you want to have better handsprings and better power out of your roundhouse to connect into a handspring, learn to control it in other areas. Learn to control your core. Make sure you're breathing and you have that control. Make sure when you're doing an exercise, you know where you're supposed to feel it and what it's supposed to feel like. A stretch should feel like a stretch. An exercise that you're working on stability, you're going to fatigue and you're going to stop when you start to get that little bit of wobble and shake, or it's getting tired and it's getting woken up. Stop at that point if you're working on stability, because if you push beyond that, it's like going off the edge of the Grand Canyon. We want to work it to that edge, but not past it. Then when you get into strength, like powerlifting and Olympic lifts and squats and deadlifts and snatches and cleans and plyometrics, all of that comes after you've got the mobility and the strength. And you sometimes you should be able to make a change in a session, in your warm-up, to effectively then go and do your lift. Your lift might be your tumbling practice. Your lift might be your cheer practice. If you're in the gym and you're an adult, or you're in a gym and doing a workout, as whether you're a cheerleader or an adult, you do those warm-ups to get your body ready so that you are able to go do the lifting that you want to do. I promise if you do this, if you get your body ready and you are aware of what you're supposed to feel, you maintain your breath and you're not just holding your breath and trying to fight through it, and you work on the control end of it, your lifts are going to be better, your workouts are going to be better, you're going to feel better and move better. And that's the whole point of any workout. Whatever you're doing, we want to feel good in it. We want to be solid in it. We want to be able to build and be solid in that. So remember ABC: awareness, breath, and control. If you're not sure of what something's supposed to feel like, you can always reach out to me on Instagram, send me an email, but do some research. Know why you're doing an exercise, what the exercise is meant to improve. And instead of just throwing blanket exercises on, figure out why you're doing something and be specific to make it better. When we are specific and we work on that control, everything just feels that much better. If you have any questions, please reach out and let me know. I'm happy to answer. And if you have a specific question, feel free to submit the Ask the PT form. I'm happy to answer that as well. As you've noticed, we're changing direction a little bit and talking more about how cheerleading and training in general can coincide and what cheerleading can bring into adult training, and recognizing it's the same for both. We need to train our bodies to feel good. We need to train our bodies to move better, and we need to train with control and good form in the process. I hope you have a great week. Don't forget, when in doubt, breathe out. Take life one step at a time. You can do anything you put your mind to. And as my friend Drew Keller said, you're responsible for your own vibes. Let's go get the day.